All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the fourth quarter podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah or Dumbo, and I'm joined today with my friend, Miles. Say what's up, Miles.
What's good with y'all?
And today we are going to be recapping week 18, the final regular season week of the 2021-2022 NFL season, and then doing some game predictions for the Wildcard Weekend and doing our NFL honors predictions for this season. So we got a lot to hop into today, and this is the first fourth quarter talks, and I'm joined with somebody. So if you guys like this, want to see some more people on with this, let me know down below. But let's just start into this. First things first, I went 7-9 last week in my predictions. That is freaking terrible. Like that is awful. I went 11-5 the week before, and then I actually flopped and went 7-9. So on the year so far, I'm 18-14, and I'm 0-2 with my fourth quarter comeback predictions. It's not looking too good for me. But this week I'm gonna hit all of them. I'm gonna go what 7-0. I think there's 7 games this week. But we're gonna go into the big headlines of the week. First things first, the Dolphins beat the Patriots, right? Brian Flores was on like a had like an 7-8 game winning streaks, lost to the Titans, and then beat the Patriots, ruined their chances of clinching or winning the AFC East, right? You're like, okay, Brian Flores, good job. And then the Dolphins fire him.
I don't get that. I don't understand. He went 8-1 in his last 9 games.
I mean, and the only team that lost was the Titans, who was the number 1 seed. So like, you don't blame them. You know what I mean? And also, they have a turnover quarterback. I mean, and they won 33-24. They were like making Mac Jones look uncomfortable. The defense looked amazing, and then you fire him.
That wasn't smart at all.
I mean, I don't know what their plan is, because to me, Brian Flores is a good coach. I think he had like one of the best records the past 2 seasons of any head coach. And you go in and fire him. Why do you think they fired him? Like, what do you think their thought process was when firing Brian Flores?
Honestly, I think that might be an ego thing. I think Miami just has we know they're not ran the best because they've been terrible for years. They haven't been a serious contender since they had Marino back in the day. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't.
They went 10-6 last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they barely missed the playoffs last year because somebody else went 10-6 and beat them out of it.
Yeah, that was not good. That wasn't a good firing at all.
I think it has to do something with personnel and not Brian Flores himself. I think one side wanted Tua and one side didn't want Tua. And so they decided to split because it wasn't good for both of them or something like that, because it doesn't make any sense to fire a good head coach. Like, that is really stupid.
Yeah, also, Deshaun Watson wanted to go to Miami because of Brian Flores. So if you wanted Watson, now you can't get him.
Exactly. So yeah, I think you just ruined your franchise, if I'm being honest. They're probably going to do really bad next year. Anyways, Matt Nagy got fired and Joe Judge got fired. I don't know who else got fired, but those are the 2 big ones I remember. Matt Nagy, thank God he got fired. Can we just say that?
Yeah.
I mean, this dude was terrible.
I hate it because
you liked it. You probably enjoyed watching Matt Nagy coach the Bears because you're a Packers fan.
Of course.
But I mean, like last year in the playoffs, watching him play the Saints and the play calling he had, I was like, dude, what are you doing? And everybody thought Joe Judge was safe because he didn't get fired on Monday. And then you wake up Tuesday morning and it's like, Joe Judge is fired. I thought that was funny because everybody's like, wow, his job's safe. I saw Giants fans on Twitter going crazy, and he gets fired the next morning and they're all happy. Do you think these are 2 good firings, or you think Joe Judge was too soon? What do you think?
Joe Judge, I mean, didn't he like just make a comment like, we're not like these other losing teams or whatever?
I think he made a comment to Ron Rivera or something like that.
It's like, okay, look, buddy, y'all aren't the greatest team in the world. Y'all close to being the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like he hasn't really proven much. I mean, Daniel Jones himself, like, he'll have like 1 highlight every 2 weeks and then look below average at best. I don't see a lot of development with the Giants, especially under him at coach. So I don't know if keeping him would have been the best idea. And Nagy, he needs to go. He just straight up needs to go.
This season, the Giants got progressively worse as the week went on.
Yeah.
And then you realize, like, oh, they're bad. They can't get worse. And then they show up and they throw for -4 passing yards. And you're like, they can't do worse than that. And then they run a QB sneak on 3rd and 9. I mean, they just like constantly prove to you that you could be worse, and it's hilarious. But yeah, I think both of those firings were were valid. Next up, we're talking about Dallas. Dallas just dropped another 50 bomb. They beat the Eagles 51-26. They dropped a 50 bomb on the football team like 2 weeks ago. This offense is rolling. Do you think the Cowboys are an actual threat in the NFC after having 2 games dropping 50 plus points?
If I'm being honest, I think they are a threat. And I think it comes down to their path to getting to, like, say, the NFC Championship. Because Tampa Bay just lost Antonio Brown. They lost Chris Godwin to injury. So they're not gonna be as strong offensively as we know them to be. Then who are they got to play in the first round? San Francisco?
Yeah, my team.
I think that's a pretty even matchup, if I'm being brutally honest. I think that could go back and forth.
Yeah, for sure.
And then playing at home for that game I think it's gonna help. Although I think San Francisco has a really good traveling fan base. I was at Costco the other day and I saw like 5 49ers fans. I'm like, bro, I'm on the East Coast. Why am I looking at 49ers fans? But yeah. I think Dallas is for real. I think they're definitely dangerous.
I mean, the only stat that throws me off is that they're 6-5 against every other team, and then they're 6-0 in the division. They play in a really bad division, and then you're 6-5 against every other NFL team you played against this season. It looks really weird. But I mean, to put it 50 points in any game is impressive. Like, I know it was the Eagles' backups, but just to drop 50 points, it's impressive. You don't see it happen too often. So I think the Cowboys' offense is a true threat to be reckoned with, and I think Dak Prescott is amazing. And they lost Michael Gallup, and they still did this. I don't know. I'm worried about the Cowboys. I think they could do some damage in the NFC. I think the only team the Cowboys can't beat is probably the Packers. But we'll get into that later on with our playoff predictions.
I think that too. We always have
the Cowboys,
wrenching games with Dallas.
Yeah. The Jaguars beating the Colts 26-11 and ruining the Colts' playoff chances. And not only that, they beat the Colts, spoiled their playoffs, and then the Lions win. So then they still get the number 1 overall draft pick. As a Jags fan, you got to be happy. I mean, Trevor Lawrence balled out against a really good defense in the Colts. You ruin the Colts' playoff chances, and you get the first overall draft pick.
Yeah, there's a Colts fan. He has this big ass Colts flag that he has like across his house. He lives like 3 houses down from me. He took it down like after that game, and it was so funny to me. I'm like, I would be so hurt too. You just lost to the worst. Yeah, it's like you just lost to the worst team in the league badly. Like, that's embarrassing.
Dude, Carson Wentz had 2 interceptions, I think. Dude looked awful. I mean,
week 18
terrible. Dude, week 18 Trevor, he might be the top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Week 18 Trevor, dude balled out. He destroyed that defense. It's just so sad, right? You have like this record. You are 0-5, I believe, in the Jaguar Stadium since 2014, or some crazy stat like that.
Believe that.
And you have a way better team. You're going against a rookie quarterback who has looked terrible this entire season, right? Yeah. And you let that do them to you to ruin your chances in the playoffs. All you do is you win that game and you're in the playoffs. And you can't even beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, I don't know if that's a coaching thing, if that's a quarterback thing, if that's a mentality thing.
It's weird, though, because they were in the same situation last year. They had to beat Jacksonville to make the playoffs, and they were able to do that just fine. So
I know. Maybe Carson Wentz is really bad. Maybe that's what it is.
They just choked that one. That's actually depressing.
No, like I would probably never want to watch football again if the Jaguars, we're gonna beat them. They suck. And then you lose and you don't make the playoffs, and now we have to watch Ben freaking Roethlisberger play the Chiefs on Sunday. Nobody wants to watch that. I'd rather watch Jonathan Taylor go off than watch Big Ben throw 15-yard passes and struggle throwing them. I mean, it has to be pure depression for Colts fans right now, and I'm sorry, but that's comical. But the Jags getting the number 1 overall draft pick, it's huge. We'll probably do some mock drafts later on in the year, but man, oh man, the Jaguars. After that game on week 18, the future looks bright. I'm not going to lie. All right, the next one we'll move on to is my 49ers come back from a 17-point deficit, win in overtime to clinch the playoffs. That game was insane. There was like a ton of emotions going through. I thought the game was over when we were down to 0-17. I was like, shoot, Falcons win it up, please win it. And then Jimmy G and the defense rally and beat the Rams 27-24. Do you view the 49ers any differently after watching this game and watching Jimmy G with no timeouts go down the field and score a touchdown, take it into overtime?
I think if y'all play like that, y'all are definitely a threat. But I think that's been the problem, though. Y'all been so inconsistent. San Francisco's been so inconsistent. They're up and down. Like one week they look like a Super Bowl contender, and then the next week they look like they're barely gonna make the playoffs. So if y'all could keep playing like that, I think y'all are definitely a threat. Like I said, I think y'all are pretty even with Dallas because Dallas is very up and down against any team not in their division. So I think y'all definitely have a chance to go in there. And that's gonna be a rivalry game regardless. So y'all are gonna have a lot of fans in that stadium. So I don't know how much home field advantage is gonna really be there for the Cowboys because San Francisco has almost just as big as a fan base as Dallas does. So I think y'all have a good shot. I think y'all got a good opponent for the first round.
So yeah, I think we had like a 0.4% chance of winning that game, which is the highest in next gen stats history. We ended up winning it. And Jimmy Garoppolo was a huge reason why. He had Debo down the field, he had Jawan Jennings a couple times, and he let us down to get a field goal in overtime. Do you think this changes your viewpoint on Jimmy G? And we know the 49ers are trying to trade him after this offseason. Do you think his trade value went up after this game?
Uh, Maybe a little, but I don't think it like changed drastically. I don't know. It's just because you kind of already know what you're gonna get with him. I don't think this really changed
He
your
also
viewpoint
only threw one
on.
touchdown and two interceptions.
Yeah, I don't think your viewpoint changes. I think his value only went up like a little bit. I think a team that just needs like a bridge quarterback will get him, but other
Yeah.
than that, I don't think much changed.
I don't see any much change. I respect him a lot more to go out there and play with the messed up thumb and to do what he did. I respect him. But I mean, look at the stats. They're literally the same stats at the Tennessee game. The only difference is Ambry Thomas intercepted the football on Matthew Stafford, who looks pretty. I don't know, man. Matthew Stafford, we'll get into that later on, but Matthew Stafford, dude, he worries me from a Rams fan, honestly. And then the game of the week I had last week, the game of the week, the Raiders beat the Chargers when they could have tied and they clinched the playoffs. I mean, Justin Herbert converted like 5 fourth downs, got them into overtime. Dude, this was one of the most crazy games I've ever watched in my entire life. And then it looks like the Raiders are going to take the tie. You know, they're like chewing the clock down. You know, they're like getting 2 yards per carry. They're not even like thinking of a field goal. And then Brandon Staley goes timeout. And then the Raiders are like, oh, okay. They kick the field goal and the Chargers are eliminated.
Yes. The Raiders are mad lame for that, but at the same time, that's Brandon Staley's fault because you
Bro,
broke the trust. If you don't call that timeout, then you're playing. Who would they have played? Buffalo. So they would be playing the Bills right
I think
now.
so.
So that's. I mean, if I'm being honest, I probably would have went for the field goal too after the timeout.
I would have too. Because, I mean, I think there was
But
like 30 or 40 seconds left on the clock, right? They have two
yeah,
timeouts. You use one of them, use another one, you get a stop. They don't kick a field goal or they punt you the ball. You know what I mean? Like as a coach, you're like, you don't
yeah,
want to lose this game. You don't want to give that offense an opportunity to go down and beat you. You know what I mean? You have it
yeah,
right here in front of you. You can win the game. You call a timeout. I'm obviously going to try to win the game because you're trying to win the game. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I feel so
yeah.
bad for Justin Herbert, dude. I think he deserved the playoffs more than anybody. That dude, that kid's a baller. Like
100%.
watching him on fourth down with Matt Crosby in his face was crazy. I've never seen anybody do something like that before.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my friends. I said that Chargers Bills game would have been so fun to watch because I would have loved to see Josh Allen play Justin
Yeah.
Herbert. I don't think they've ever played each
I don't
other
think they
yet. So
have. Nobody wants to freaking watch Mac Jones, dude. Come on. But yeah, dude,
or
that was one of
Ben
the craziest games ever. Congrats to the Raiders. I called it. I'm just saying I said the Raiders are gonna win and they won. Maybe I'm a genius. I don't know. But we're gonna get into the rest of the games that weren't as big. The Chiefs beating the Broncos 28-24. The Broncos almost won this game. Melvin Ingram made Melvin Gordon fumble, and that basically was that sealed the deal. Cleveland beating the Bengals. Nobody cares. I think it was like Case Keenum versus the Bengals backup. I mean, whatever. But the Bengals won the AFC North, right? They won the
Yep.
AFC North. Congratulations. Your Packers lost to the Lions.
Mickey Mouse one of my eyes. But okay.
Okay, but can we talk about Jordan Love for just a second?
Jordan Love will show spots of greatness and then will equally show us disappointment. So it is
But
what it is with him.
are
I'm
you
still gonna
worried if he
be
becomes the
patient.
Packers starting quarterback in the future?
Eh, maybe I'd have to see him for like a whole season
Okay.
being the starter to see the growing pains because I know there's going to be some. But after that, if he doesn't like get it together, then you have to be worried.
Yeah. The Vikings beat the Bears. The Bears are poverty. Nobody cares. The football team beats the Giants. The Giants are also poverty that nobody cares about. Kenny Galladay had 0 touchdowns. They gave him a $72 million contract to score 0 touchdowns. The Steelers are in the playoffs. The Steelers beat the Baltimore Ravens in I guess it was a good game, but my God, 16-13. Have the Steelers gone past like 20 points to week 10? I swear they have not.
I don't know, but let it be known the Ravens ended on a 6-game losing streak. They
Are
were
you
8-3.
serious?
Yeah, they were 8-3 and top of the AFC, and then they lost 6 straight.
Oh, I did
Two of
not know
those
that.
they should have won. They should have beaten Pittsburgh the first time, and they should have beaten us because they went for 2 when they scored a touchdown. They were only down by 1.
Wow, I didn't know they
So
were on a
2 of those
6-game
losses are
losing
their
streak.
fault.
That's crazy. I mean, they have injuries, but like at the same time, to lose 6 in a
that's
row with that
that's
talented of a
ridiculous.
team, I don't know. But congratulations, Steelers fans! You guys are in the playoffs. You guys are first one exit, so not a single soul cares. Tennessee squeezing out a win 28-25 against the Texans, and today the Texans actually just fired their head coach David Coley, who I feel like that's unfair. I mean, he was dealt with pure garbage of a roster. He had
Yeah, he
Brandon
was dealt
Cooks,
a bad
and
hand.
that's it. And he got them 4 or 5 wins. That's not bad. I mean, the Texans offense good at times. I mean, I feel like they should give him another year. But Tennessee, with this win, they clinched the what is it? What are they? AFC South, right?
Yeah,
So Tennessee, look at that. And Derrick Henry was practicing. I think if Derrick Henry can play in the
that's
playoffs, dude, I think
terrifying.
it's done. I think the Titans win it all. Then the Saints beat the Falcons 30-20. Falcons, you guys suck. You guys are terrible. Matt Ryan is awful. I don't ever want to put my trust in the Falcons again. A literal joke of a franchise as well. But Saints, dude, I mean, you got to give Sean Payton credit.
He kept that team competitive despite the injuries and losing Drew Brees. That's honestly really impressive that that team even had a shot to make the playoffs this
I mean,
season.
you were a 49ers loss away from making the playoffs. You had Ian Book 1 week. You've had Trevor Siemian. You've had Taysom Hill, who's awful. And you almost made the playoffs. That's just, dude, Sean Payton. I mean, like, if you could give the coach of the year award to somebody who wasn't in the playoffs, easily Sean Payton. Easily. Then we had the Jets losing to the Bills. Congratulations, Bills. You guys won the AFC East. Congratulations. Second year in a row. You better own them, Patriots. The Seahawks spoiling the Cardinals' chances at winning the NFC West, beating them 38-30. The Cardinals. We got to talk about them for a minute. All I had to do was beat the awful Seahawks, who the 49ers couldn't beat, but they own us, so it's okay. But all you had to do is beat the Seahawks, and you get the NFC West. And you couldn't do that. And you have looked awful in December besides the Cowboys game. What is your impression on the Cardinals going forward in the playoffs?
I'm a little concerned about them. Honestly, I think this first round matchup with them is going to be very interesting because those are 2 teams that have been really up and down. Like if we're looking past like week 6, week 7, something like that. And the Cardinals started off like what 7-0, and now
Dude,
they're
they're
11. They
7-1,
finished
and then I think they
11-6.
dropped to 10-2, and then they finished off 11-5. I think they did.
That's Yeah, they're really up and down. I don't know what it is with them. I know they've had injuries and they've been dealing with that
If
too, but
Kingsbury's not good.
they're a really star-studded roster, so that also helps their situation. But they've dropped a lot of games that you don't drop, like to the Lions. I mean, they got owned by the Lions. That's embarrassing. That's not a game you drop. That's really concerning with them. So I don't know. I'm a little worried about Arizona.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think they're split with the Rams, right? The Rams won 1 and the Cardinals won 1. So this playoff
Yeah.
game is going to determine who's the better team. And then we ended it off with Tampa Bay absolutely obliterating the Panthers 41-17. The Panthers, I didn't think they would look this bad, dude. They look bad. I don't understand how Matt Rule hasn't been fired yet.
Yeah, as a North Carolina native, I've grown up knowing a lot about the Panthers in my life. This is nothing new. They do this almost every year. They'll start off like 3-4-0. Everyone thinks they're gonna make the playoffs, and then they'll lose like 7 straight. And it's like, okay, well, we're doing this again.
I mean, that was just crazy. But this NFL season is officially over, at least the regular season part of it. We're going into the playoffs. This season was fun. I enjoyed a lot of games this season. I enjoyed the Niners, having a little bit of an underdog comeback story. But if you could describe this NFL season in one word, what would you say? What would you say?
Uh, I would say very, not really one word, but injury riddle. This season just seemed
Injury.
like it had a lot of injuries or just players out in general, and it costed a lot of teams like a chance to make the playoffs or just overall chance to do better than they did. Because I feel like, I mean, San Francisco, they had their injuries that costed them. Baltimore lost Lamar Jackson, and then you lose 6
And
straight, so
like
that
all four of the
costed
running
them.
backs, all four of the running backs.
Yeah, they were decimated by injury.
The
And there's
Saints
other
losing
teams,
Jason.
yeah, and they were 5-2 when they had him starting and stuff. So it's just a lot of injuries, and I would have loved to see everybody healthy, or at least for the most part, as healthy as you can be playing football. But I don't know, because even the Packers, I mean, we didn't have that bad of a, we didn't get hit as hard. We had our injuries, obviously, but we just didn't get hit as hard as a lot of these other teams did.
Or
So
COVID when you guys lost Aaron Rodgers for the Chiefs
yeah,
game. Uh,
that's what I would
I'm
do.
gonna go with chaos. This season was pure chaos. I mean,
Yeah,
you had the Saints beating the Packers week 1, and you're like, oh my god, is Aaron Rodgers throwing the Packers season? And then he goes on to have an MVP
that's what
like
I'm looking
season.
at.
The whole Antonio Brown situation this whole season was crazy. And then you talk about
He's
Jonathan
crazy.
Taylor out of
So,
nowhere going off. It's like 5 touchdowns one game. Whole Henry Ruggs incident, the whole Damon Arnett incident with the Raiders, and then the John Gruden incident. I mean, this season was chaotic with all the injuries. You know what I mean? Teams starting
yeah,
off 5-0 and then just failing the rest of the season.
yeah,
Browns being terrible after everybody predicted them to win the Super Bowl. I mean, pure chaos this season was, and it was really enjoyable though. I really enjoyed it this season.
yeah.
Um, it's definitely going to be one for the books. We also had a lot of overtime wins this season with that. We had the Bills versus the Bucks, Niners versus Bengals, the Chargers Raiders game. I mean, a bunch of crazy overtime games.
Almost all of the Ravens wins are in
Yeah,
overtime.
that's true. I mean, the Raiders and Ravens week 1, that game was
Yeah, that was a
crazy.
great
The
game.
Raiders scored a touchdown. They think they won it. The touchdown gets called back. They throw a pick, and then Lamar Jackson fumbles, and then they scored. Dude, I mean, that game was insane. Man, this season, crazy, crazy stuff. But we're gonna go into our NFL honors predictions now. So we're only gonna go over the coach of the year, the offensive rookie of the year, the defensive rookie of the year, comeback player of the year, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and then we'll finish off with the MVP. We're not getting into Walter Payton of the year or any of that stuff. But I'll let you start off with who do you think your coach of the year is?
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's gonna be Bill Belichick. I think
I
just for the
agree.
Patriots getting back to the playoffs, having a rookie quarterback, and almost winning the division. Yeah, I don't really see how it's not going to be Bill Belichick. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't go that way. So
Yeah, no, I also have Billy. I have Bill Belichick winning. I agree. I mean, awful last year with Cam Newton. You get a rookie quarterback who isn't anything insane. You know what I mean? Like he's an average
yeah,
NFL quarterback. You have a run game with no name running backs. You have an all-star defense still, and you lost Stephon Gilmore, and you still have an all-star defense. I mean, what isn't the like Bill Belichick going to the playoffs with they can even win the Super Bowl with this rookie quarterback. I mean, I don't.
yeah,
People are saying Zach
his system
Taylor.
just works.
I don't see Zach Taylor deserving this. I think Mike Vrabel deserves it over Zach Taylor.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I 100% also agree that Bill should win comeback player of the year. And if we're
yeah,
right, we're right. Because I mean, you don't see a lot of people go to the playoffs with rookie quarterbacks,
yeah. It's
let
not.
alone almost win your division.
Yeah, you have to be a really good coach with a
Yeah,
rookie QB to make it to the playoffs.
exactly. And they're not even and they have the Bills in their division too. You know what I mean? So it's not like
Yeah,
easy. Offensive rookie of the year. I feel like this isn't even close. I feel like this
It's
is
Jamar
it's
Chase.
Jamar Chase. This dude,
This should easily be Jamar Chase.
he had more receiving yards than Patrick Mahomes had passing yards when they played each other.
He almost had a 300-yard game, and I was like, yeah, this dude's ridiculous. And everybody used to say Cincinnati messed up with that pick. That's the craziest
I
part.
was one of them. I'm not gonna lie. I was wrong. Jamar Chase, he's a
That
top
dude is
5 wide receiver in the NFL right now, and he's a
He's a
rookie.
generational player.
He's having a better rookie season than Justin Jefferson, and I didn't think that was possible.
Cincinnati, they struck gold with that one because he's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, same with the defensive rookie of the year. It's also undisputed.
Micah
Micah
Parsons, by
Parsons,
far,
insane rookie of the year.
he's crazy.
I was like, nobody should draft him. He's not going to be good. And then he comes out to the Cowboys and dominates.
He's also generational.
So many generation talents this draft. I mean, how many sacks did he have this year? Do you know? I think it was like 11, maybe. Was it 11?
11 or 12, something like that.
Something
But
like
to
that,
have
but
that many in your rookie season is
yeah. And he would also drop back in coverage, I think, sometimes, right? I think he had an interception, maybe. I don't know, dude. He was just constantly wreaking havoc.
He had a
on
pick
quarterback.
6.
He did. That's what it was. Yeah, he had a pick 6.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, what a year for
and
Micah Parsons.
Dallas is known to have terrible defenses. He is exactly what they needed.
I honestly think he's the reason why Trayvon Diggs has had a better season.
I don't want to talk about Trayvon Diggs.
We don't have to talk about Trayvon Diggs, but I think Micah Parsons is the reason why Trayvon Diggs is having a better season. Having those quarterbacks get the ball out there faster because he's in their face, it's going to start some problems. Comeback player of the year. I feel like this is probably the second most debatable award with the coach of the year, maybe. I have 2 people, and I think it's split between both of them. Who do you have?
For me, it would be Dak. I think that's
really?
kind of like the basic answer. I just feel like, he had that injury was disgusting. I'm not gonna lie.
What was it, broken?
It was like a broken ankle, and I just wish I did not see that live. But
I saw it live.
Yeah, I did too, and I wish I didn't. But yeah, then they come back and the Cowboys are in the playoffs and they look like a contender. I think that's impressive. They come back after an injury like that can alter careers. Yeah, I'd have to go.
The 2 I have are 2 people who went down last year with ACL tears. Mm-hmm. I have Joseph Burrow and Nick Bosa as my 2. I can't pick who's going to win it. The Niner fan inside of me wants Nick Bosa to win it because you see the impact he does every single week. But as a football fan, Joe Burrow is doing some crazy stuff with the Bengals team that nobody thought was going to be good. I would give it to Dak. I love Dak. Dak is actually my favorite quarterback in the NFL. But you knew the Cowboys were going to be decent at least. You knew the Cowboys were going to make the playoffs. You knew the Cowboys were going to get some wins. You know what I mean? I mean, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. Like, you knew what you're getting from the Cowboys for the most part. The Bengals, you did not. Everybody had the Bengals getting 4 wins, 5 wins this season, not even making the playoffs. And Joe Burrow comes out, and yes, he had a ton of help from Jamar Chase. He would just throw it down the field and Jamar Chase would catch it. But at the same time, coming off an ACL tear, putting the numbers up he did. He has, I think, near 1,000 passing yards and no turnovers against the Ravens alone. I mean, he was dominant this entire season. I think he deserves it over Dak Prescott, but the Niner fan in me wants Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, I think, is tied for the most tackles for loss. I think he's 3rd or 4th in sacks, and he's also the highest double team edge in the NFL. The Niner fan of me wants Nick Bosa, but for me, honest, I think Joe Burrow is probably going to get it, and he deserves it. Then we'll move on to Offensive Player of the Year. People are saying this is close. I don't really think it's close. Who do you have winning it?
To be honest, it's such a I don't know, because I haven't really paid attention too much to like the stats of other players, offensively speaking. But I mean, obviously, in my heart, you know what I want to say.
You want to say A-Rod?
Of course, but that's what I would go with, obviously, because I'm biased. But if I had to be unbiased on Offensive Player of the Year, I don't know. I feel like, Tom Brady haunts us, especially after last year. I'm heartbroken. I can see them giving it to him.
Not a quarterback, because usually the MVP is a quarterback award and offensive player of the year is skill position, wide receiver, running back.
So if I had to be unbiased, I'd say Jonathan Taylor.
Really? Okay. Yeah, so the two are Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp. Those are the two everybody's saying they deserve it, right? And they're saying it's a close one. I don't think it's close. Jonathan Taylor had an insane
Taylor
year.
had an insane season, but
Don't get me
Cooper Kupp
wrong.
had a historic year. But I'm just going with the one who I don't think, the underdog.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm just choosing Kupp because I think Kupp had also more of an impact on his offense. Jonathan Taylor couldn't get them in the playoffs. He couldn't help them get in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Cooper Kupp almost broke a record. He had, I forgot how many touchdowns, but he had an insane amount of touchdowns as well.
Yeah, he led the league in obviously yards,
receptions, touchdowns,
receptions. Yeah, he led in. I think he's like one of the very few or the first player to do that in a long time.
He almost broke Calvin Johnson's record. Now I know there's the argument Cooper Kupp ends up in the slot. He's not going against real cornerbacks. I understand that, but you have to understand that everybody knows where Cooper Kupp is going to line up. You have to scheme around where Cooper Kupp's going to be on the field, and you can't. You can't stop him. I mean, this dude has had an insane year. I don't really think it's close. Jonathan Taylor was insane. Don't get me wrong. 5 touchdowns in one game. Yeah. I think he almost had 2,000 total yards. But to have almost 2,000 receiving yards, and the next guy I think has like 1,600, blew him out of the water. Cooper Kupp deserves to win it. And I don't really like the Rams. So it's a lot saying that I think Cooper Kupp's going to win it. Defensive player of the year now. Who do you have?
I can tell you who I don't want them to choose, but I feel like they would be leaning towards him, but I don't think they'll pick him. I hope to God they don't say Trayvon Diggs. Because yes, he had 10
I don't
picks,
think it will. 11, but I don't think he will.
11, but it's like he got cooked on so many.
1,000 yards allowed against him.
That's not defensive player of the year worthy, like at all. But I think it'll be TJ Watt.
Yep. TJ
broke the sack record. Like, come on now. It should be. And he got robbed last year, in my opinion. I think he should have won it last year over Aaron Donald.
Also, he got robbed of a sack. He should have broke it. He tied it. I believe he tied the record. He didn't break it. He tied it. He should have broken it. He sacked Tyler Huntley, and they didn't call it a sack. It was really weird. He strip sacked him, and they said, no, that's not a sack. He should have broke the record, first of all. He had an insane year, dude. He missed, I think, 4 games, and he still tied the record. That is just dominant force right there.
Yeah, it should be easy. It shouldn't really take that much consideration.
No, TJ Watt, it's not even close. People like Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald has it in crap this year. MVP, I think this is also undisputed. I think we have the same opinion if who deserves to win it. I'm going to count down from 3. We'll say at the same time because it's not even close. 1, 2, 3. A-Rod.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
Dude, I'm so mad that your stupid coach wouldn't let us have him. We almost had him. He wanted to come here. We wanted him. And Lou Flair was like, nah, it's not happening.
Yeah, we wanted him too. So that's where the problem came in.
Man,
this season, and then the off season, then for him to come out and have this type of season, that's crazy. Because I was one of those people that's like, he is throwing the season in week 1. And
that's what I thought too. I was like, dang, A-Rod really wants out of Green Bay. No, he doesn't. Here's the thing though. If A-Rod wins this, he won it last year, right? He won MVP last year. Back-to-back MVP. That's impressive. Here's the stat though. So I don't know if you want A-Rod to win MVP because let me tell you this stat. No MVP has won the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm gonna keep confidence until the NFC Championship game, of course.
He could be the first to do it, but the stat is no MVP has won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's like that, there's that stat, and then we're the Green Bay Packers, and we obviously struggle when we get to the NFC Championship game, even at home. So there's a lot of things working against us that I'm very aware of.
But hey, this could be the year where you guys break all of those curses and you win it all. I mean, he's insane. I'm so sad that we never drafted him or traded for him when we had the chance. But let's get into our wild card. I think they're calling it the Super Wild Card Weekend. Let's get into our Super Wild Card Weekend predictions next. We'll start off with our Saturday games. Starting off the morning, we have the Las Vegas Raiders, very impressive winning against the Chargers, playing against the Cincinnati Bengals. Who do you got winning this game?
I feel like some people are thinking this one's gonna be a blowout, and I think it's gonna be closer than a lot of people expect. But I ultimately will have the Bengals winning that one. I just feel like it depends on what quarterback you're getting out of Derek Carr, because it's like sometimes he looks like a top 5, top 10 quarterback, and then there's other times it's like, what is he doing? So I think it depends on what they get out of that. But I think ultimately Cincinnati wins. There's no answer for Jamar Chase on that Raiders defense.
Exactly.
That's going to be what hurts them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Bengals win this one. It's either going to be a blowout or it's either going to be a close game. I don't know. I think it's either a blowout and the Bengals win or it's a close game and the Raiders win because the Raiders know how to win close games. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
And the Bengals don't. They got lucky with some flags in KC, for being honest. But the Bengals, I think it's going to be somewhat of a blowout. I think it's going to be like a 12-point deficit win, if I'm being honest. I don't think the Raiders can stop Jamar Chase. And I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase go off to move on in the playoffs. Then we have the game I think that like nobody really cares about, for being honest, unless you're a fan of them. The Patriots versus the Bills. We've literally seen this game a million times already. Yeah. And one of the games, the quarterback threw for 3 yards or three total times. I mean,
yeah, I'm
already tired of this rivalry, for being honest. I love watching Josh Allen play, but I mean,
I think this should. I don't think Buffalo's gonna let that happen again. That happened that first time they played. There's no way Matt Jones is gonna be able to throw 2-3 times and be able to beat them. He's gonna have to throw the ball. Yeah. But one thing that they will have that they didn't have last time is that they didn't have to work against last time was they don't have to play Tre'Davious White because he will not be there. So
is he injured?
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
Oh dang, I didn't know that.
I think he tore it against New England. I don't remember. It was either against New England or Tampa Bay. I forget which game it happened in, but
dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's out. He's been out for the last 6-7 weeks.
And right now the Patriots have won one, and the Bills have won one. So whoever wins this one is going to be like, the true king. I have the Bills winning this one, though.
Yeah, I think Buffalo wins.
I think the Bills pull this one out. I don't think they're going to let the Patriots embarrass them again. And I think Mac Jones struggles because he's a rookie in the playoffs. And then we move on to our Sunday games. We have the Eagles at Tampa Bay. Do you see an upset? Do you see, what do you see here? Do the Eagles pull off the upset as the 7th seed, the biggest underdogs?
Nope, because Tom Brady holds a grudge like a teenage girl. So he's obviously going to go extra hard on Philadelphia because they beat him in the Super Bowl.
Really special.
And Jalen Hurts, I like Jalen Hurts, honestly.
Me too, dude. I really like Hurts.
He just seems like a cool dude, but this is going to be his first time in the playoffs against Tampa Bay. Against Tom Brady, that's really tough. I just don't think he's going to be able to pull it off.
No,
but I don't think he plays bad, but
I do think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be somewhat of what the football team did last season against them. I think it's going to be a close game, but I don't see.
I can see that, but I just don't see.
I don't see the Eagles winning this, dude. I mean, Tampa Bay is just too good of a team. It's a powerhouse. But if the Eagles pull this off and the Niners win, thank you, because then we don't have to play the Packers. I don't want to play the Packers.
I'm ready to play San Francisco and Lambeau. I'm so sick of playing y'all at home.
Please don't. Speaking of the 49ers, they play the Cowboys this Sunday in Arlington, Texas. Who do you have winning this game?
I think it depends on how Dallas comes out. Because Dallas is 2 different teams. It's either they start really slow and then heat up at the end, which is almost something you can't do against San Francisco, because San Francisco is very competitive in those close games, or they start off red hot. And then that's when I think San Francisco is going to have issues, because I don't know if you guys could keep up with a team that's going to drop 30 or 40 on y'all. So I think if it's like a slow start, I think San Francisco definitely is better at winning close games than Dallas. But if it's a fast start, Dallas comes out just straight gunning, then I think that's going to go to Dallas. I think
I need an
ultimately,
answer. You're betting money
I,
on this game. Who are you betting on
yeah,
winning?
I think ultimately I'm gonna go with the Cowboys to win
Okay,
this
that's
one.
fair. That's fair. I'm an Niners fan. There's a little bit of bias in this. I'm gonna go with the 49ers. The only way I see us losing this game is if we did what we did the past 2 weeks, and that's only score 3 points in the first half.
Yeah, if Dallas starts off fast, y'all
If
gotta
we
start off
score
fast
only
with them.
3 points in the first half and the Cowboys have a lead on us, I don't see how we win this game. I mean, but my thing is, I view the Cowboys' defense a lot like the Rams' defense, where they have a good front four and one person in the secondary who's good. And we know how to maneuver around that. You know what I mean? I mean, our offensive line
Yeah,
last week didn't even have Trent Williams, and we did pretty good. And the Cowboys don't have the best rushing defense out there. And we don't really throw the ball deep. You know, we're more of like, we'll throw it short, I'll make you tackle us. And the Cowboys don't have the greatest tackling. My only problem is Micah Parsons. Jimmy G, when there's pressure in his face, struggles a lot. So, I mean, if we can get the run game going with Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel, I think we win this game. But I'm really scared for the Cowboys. But I'm going with my Niners. I'm going with my Niners this week. I think we
yeah.
win it.
And how confident are you in the Niners secondary against the Cowboys receivers with no Michael Gallup?
That's what makes me slightly more confident because I don't think Cedric Wilson's nowhere near like Gallup. And Ambry Thomas did really good last week against Odell Beckham Jr. I'm not gonna lie, the rookie did really good against Odell, but I think Dak Prescott's not as impulsive as Stafford. I think Dak will throw the shorter passes more. Stafford at one point he just started chucking those balls deep, and I was like, what is he doing? So I think Dak's more patient, but I don't think Dak's as accurate. So I don't think our secondary completely shuts down the wide receivers, but I don't think the wide receivers necessarily obliterate our secondary, and that's why I think it's gonna be a close back and forth game, but I think the Niners pull it off in a close one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have we'll call it the sleep game of the week, the game that everybody's gonna sleep during unless you're a fan of these teams. I mean, Big Ben himself said, "We're gonna lose this game. Let's go out there and have fun." Your own quarterback said that. Dude has no faith in winning this game. He said, "Oh yeah, best team. We're gonna lose." What?
Well, I mean, he's not. He's not wrong. I think Kansas City
but you
should win
don't
this
go
one
out
relatively easily.
in the media and say that you have no faith in your team.
I feel like he's trying to make them band together. It's like, I don't think that's gonna work. I just don't think that's gonna work.
Maybe he didn't want to make the playoffs. Maybe he wanted to end up beating the Ravens, and that was it. And now he's like, wow.
I would honestly think that would be better off than going to the playoffs and
that could have been my last game.
That
could have been my last game. But now my last game is gonna be me getting dominated by freaking Patrick Mahomes. I don't want that to be my last game of the season. So I think he wanted a tie, and I think he's very upset that he's playing in this game. But Chiefs are gonna win this game. I think it's gonna be like a 20-point deficit.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not gonna be close.
I don't think they have a shot. Typically, I don't say regular season matchups matter because they typically don't. But I think with this one, Pittsburgh got killed by Kansas City, and I think that's just going to happen again. So
definitely. And lastly, Monday Night Football, we have the Cardinals versus the Rams.
That's the one I want to see the most, if I'm being honest, because both of them, they're so similar. Like they started off so hot, and then they cooled off like all the way after week 8, and I feel like it's going to be evenly matched because they're to me they're like the same team. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to win that one.
Whoa! What do you mean?
I think Arizona will upset LA, and I think either way no matter what we're going to have to play one of these teams which stinks. But I think the Cardinals win that one.
I'm going with the Rams. And I'm pretty confident with the Rams winning this game. For some reason, they just play completely different against the Cardinals. I don't know what it is. I mean, I know they struggled that first time they played them, but the second time, the Rams looked really, really good. And the Cardinals have been struggling, and they still don't have DeAndre Hopkins back. I don't think Hopkins returns until if the Cardinals make the NFC Championship.
That's also true.
So without DeAndre Hopkins, I think they struggle a lot. JJ Watt is coming back, I believe. But I think the Rams do win this game. And I think pretty comfortably they win this game. And we'll say bye-bye to Arizona, and Cliff Kingsbury will probably be fired.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't see the Cardinals winning this game. But if our picks are right, or if my picks are right, next week in the division round, we would see Tennessee, or we'll see Cincinnati play Tennessee. We'd see the Bills at Kansas City, which is a game we all want to watch. I think the Tennessee game would be really good too. We would see the 49ers travel to Green Bay, and we would see the Rams play Tampa Bay. If my predictions are right, that's what we would see next week. And I mean, both of those AFC games would be crazy, dude. I mean, I hope my AFC picks are right. I don't really want to play the Packers, if I'm being honest. I think if we play you guys in the division round, we lose. The only way we beat you guys is if we play you guys in the NFC Championship. And the only way for that to happen is if the Eagles win this week and we win this week. But if it's a division, we're probably going to lose to you guys. I'm confident in that.
I just don't like playing teams with good run games at home because it's like, well, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have Elijah Mitchell
exactly
when we played you. We have Elijah Mitchell now.
What you need is a run game playing us at Lambeau. So,
I mean, I don't know.
A lot of teams in the NFC have a decent run game.
Yeah. All right. And to end off the show, like we do every single time we do fourth quarter talks, we're going to do our fourth quarter comeback pick. I'll go first. I'm 0-2 so far. I think I picked the Chargers my first time I did this, and then the Cardinals the last time I did this. Both of those missed. But I'm going with the Bills. I think the Bills get a fourth quarter comeback win. I think some point in the fourth quarter, they're going to be down. They're going to take the lead, and they're going to win out the game and advance in the playoffs. Who do you have in the fourth quarter being an underdog winning the game?
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Okay.
I think they're gonna start off slow, and I think y'all are gonna get a good jump on them. But I think they'll eventually get it together. And I think they'll come back and win.
So you think at some point in the fourth quarter the Cowboys will be down, they'll take a lead and win the game?
Yeah.
All right. So you're putting my downfall. Okay. All right. I mean, I guess so. Hey, it's fine. All right, but that's gonna be the show for this week. I am joined by Miles today. If you guys want to see Miles return to the podcast and do another fourth quarter talks, or just talk about some other football related stuff, make sure to like the video and comment down below. Also follow Miles' Twitter down below. It'll be down there. You can go see his absolute terrible takes. And I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next week. Peace.